Well, welcome to this beautiful day. How you doing today, Denise?
I'm great. It's great to be here.
All right, we're going to delve into our podcast for this project that we've been working on. I feel honored to say Denise has been my protege, and I've been her mentor. But I've learned an incredible amount from her as her mentor and protege. So I think we've been almost like a double mentor thing.
Yeah, it's been a good relationship.
Absolutely.
I think we've both gotten a lot from it.
Amen. All right. So this is an introduction, and you'll see these documents come up. We're looking at these documents, one of our pillars, and you'll see them come up on your screen in just a few, for our National Association for Elementary School Principals and Mentoring Program. Just an introduction, and the purpose of this podcast is more so to look at the ins and outs of the program, almost like a teaching tool for those that will come after us, for the mentor as well as the protege, and say like the best practices of the program, the ins and outs of the program, what were some of the pain points, if you would, some of the great successes. But overall, I think it's been a good, successful project.
I think it has been. It's given me a lot to reflect on.
Perfect. Yeah. Let's delve in.
Let's do it.
All right. So again, we'll be referring to this document that you'll see on your screen in the sec, which is our pillars, and I'll do some reflecting on our program on the competencies for our program as well as far as the mentor competencies. All right. So tell us a little about yourself. Background. Go on some background stuff first.
My background. Okay, so this is my 28th year in education.
You're almost out of here.
I'm almost out. So close. But all of my career has been in elementary school. So I was a teacher, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade for about 12 years, and then I started managing our. It wasn't a STEM lab at that time because STEM didn't exist. It was just our science lab.
You invented it.
I really did.
You did, pioneer.
I was on cutting edge. Didn't even realize it. Didn't even realize it. But I managed our STEM lab where our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders came through, did science experiments. I integrated in math and technology with them. So STEM before it was STEM.
That's right.
Yeah. And then after that, I became a curriculum support teacher, data support specialist, and now sitting in the administrative seat, the hot seat.
House of Love.
Yes, now the principal at the House of Love. Love T. Nolan Elementary.
Love T. Nolan, and I love that fact. We talked about that a lot, just the culture that you were able to establish is one of our pillars in terms of building culture. Just a little bit about me. Jason Stamper, principal, Banneker High School. I've been in this game about 27 years too.
You've been wow. For a minute.
I know.
For a minute.
Yeah. I was principal of Woodland Middle School before coming to Banneker High School. One of my greatest joys is the fact, and this is being filmed at the end of May. It's actually the day before graduation.
Yes.
And I've had some of these wonderful students since they were in 6th grade because Woodland's a direct feeder to Banneker, so I've been honored to do that.
Shout out to you at graduation tomorrow morning.
I can't wait. And actually, Denise and I were meeting before this, and we were able to see some of our students at the last minute pull it through.
Last minute, but they made it.
That's all it's about.
Their teeth.
You're right. Skin of all of our teeth. One of them things. Toothpieces? No.
Yeah. No, maybe not.
Right. All right. So let's dig in. So we have these pillars. We spend a lot of time with these pillars in our time together. And so I want to highlight each pillar, but one of the things that we focused on. So one of the things we talk about, again, as we alluded to, is building culture. And you did such a phenomenal job building culture. But one of the first things that we talk about is that culture of wellness. And you and I, when we first met, we talked about like just that rung on the building culture, emphasizing personal and professional well-being and development. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think for me, that's probably that's the biggest thing. And that's what I talk to my staff about all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't think that it's about finding a balance, work-life balance, because I don't know that that's really possible.
Right.
But
absolutely.
To be able to get into the flow so that you are giving your all, while you're at work, while you're with your organization, but at the same time, you have to be able to pour back into yourself. Absolutely. So that you can be the best that you can for you, your family, and just in your personal life. So
absolutely.
I really make a concerted effort for myself to make sure that I am doing some of the things that I like. Especially like for me, I got to cut it off at a certain time of day. and that means I need to go to the gym, and that's where I can get all my frustrations out. You know, I can sweat to exhaustion, and then I'm ready for the next day. So my schedule is usually, I'll either go work out 2 to 3 times a week, either before work at like 5 a.m. or I'll make sure I'm there by 5. Right, you're right. Or I make sure I'm there by 5:30 in the evening. But I know that I have to be able to do that so that each day I can go back and be my best self.
And that's such an awesome example. I know when we first talked, we talked about like taking time out for yourself and taking care of yourself, and you were talking about Orange Theory, which
Theory is my spot.
I never got a chance to get there, but I guess
give it a try.
I have to be in my near future. I might have to put it in there.
Yeah,
I'm an elliptical guy myself. Just get on elliptical, put my headphones on. Nobody bothers me. I don't bother them. But I think it's important that, in all seriousness, that we talked about like taking care of yourself. What a great example to your staff. And when I saw this pillar, I wanted to delve into that first because I think it's one of the most neglected pillars, or neglected pieces of the pillar we deal with, our personal well-being. We go and we go and we go and we don't take the time for that. As an extra bonus, not necessarily delving into it because I know we're going to get to other pillars. We're going to talk about that. Establishing a shared values and vision for your school, as you coined the House of Love, which I absolutely love T. Nolan, but affectionately referred to as the House of Love. Tell us about that, the whole love culture.
Right. So the whole love culture came about because, one of the things that one of our goals was for us to become a PBIS distinguished school. Mm-hmm. So we were on the verge of doing that when I became the principal at Nolan. So I just felt that it was really important to really lean on our district big rock of relationships and routines and really focus on that. Because if the staff is going to come in and they're going to spend 8 to 10 hours, in a place, the students are there for 6.5 hours, it has to be someplace where people want to be.
Absolutely.
It has to have that positive, supportive building culture. Now, everything's not going to be perfect every single day, but, as long as people are making that choice to come back each day, that means we're doing something right.
Yep, absolutely.
We're doing something right. Yeah.
And I love it. I think that was probably one of the things that set us on a great path of us kind of talking through that, of caring for them. And every time, and I tell people all the time, like when I say the mentor protege thing, every time it's a mentor thing, I learn myself. I'm saying, I'm talking to Denise about taking care of myself and that professional, personal well-being. I learn myself, like I got to do it myself, right? And holding each other accountable. Let's go on to one of the, I guess, more, I won't say tougher ones, but empowering people. Yeah. So we had a lot of conversation about that. One of the things in personal well-being is running ourselves ragged because we do everything. And as a principal and as a leader, we have to build capacity in others. So that third rung we talked about, distributive leadership across the community. And we went back and forth some things that you were able to do and make adjustments. And again, I made adjustments myself every time we come.
This was a hard one for me, though.
Right, I know. Let's talk about how we ended up here.
Yeah. So sitting in this seat, probably one of the most difficult things to do is to relinquish control. Because principals, I think, by nature are control freaks.
Absolutely.
We have to have our hand in everything, to make sure that our systems are operating the way they're supposed to, that our people are in a good place, that our scholars are achieving, but we can't do all this work by ourselves.
Yes.
And that's where, sometimes when we talk about what's the destination, where is your school going, I've learned that I have to let my instructional coaches and my instructional team focus on the where while I focus on the who.
Absolutely.
So if I can, build the right staff and put the right people in the right seats doing the right thing, then I let my instructional team be the ones that take them to their next destination, which is for us to go from being good to great.
I think you've done a phenomenal job with that.
Well, thank you.
And particularly with, our first conversation, both of us are kind of like, I ain't going to leave. But, I've been very, very just impressed with your establishment, reestablishing and leading your instructional leadership team here. I know one of your staff members came over here and shadowed me and see how this is. And just
she got a promotion.
She did?
Yes, she's gonna become an AA.
See, that's what it is. Look at you, building leaders already. See, it's success of the program. Let's do it. All right, one more pillar, if you would.
Okay.
This final pillar was one that we I endear a lot, and I know you endear this because we've talked about it a lot. This thing on optimizing systems, and at the bottom of the optimizing systems, or I shouldn't say the bottom rung is focusing on what matters most. We talked about it probably every time we have focusing on what matters most. Focusing on what matters most.
Keeping the main thing the main thing.
Keeping the main thing the main thing. We can be guilty as leaders, and I say to everyone out there, we talk a lot about leadership, and we can become inundated in things that don't really matter. And it's not being inconsiderate, not being insensitive, but some things they don't matter in terms of the work that we do. Focusing on what matters the most. Let's talk about like what we kind of came up with, or what we landed with that.
Yeah, so in a recent meeting, I was told that my superpower was actually systems.
Right.
That was my principal superpower. So, I truly believe that systems drive everything that we do. It gives us a way to, to kind of level the playing field, make sure that my instructional leadership team, my grade level chairs, they know what the game plan is. They know what needs to be implemented so that we can support our building culture, so we can optimize, everybody's wellness and their work-life flow. At the same time. So, that's really what's important to me. Just making sure that we have systems in place so that we can monitor. And, my team will tell you all the time, I say, inspect what you expect.
That's right. And I think what the thing is, to inspect what we expect, we talked about, sometimes we can get off. We look a little bit and things happen. Like, let me recenter myself.
Yes.
Because I haven't inspected this, or this is, maybe spent more time with this than I should have. And things happen. We're school leaders. And that's what we want to say to everyone. Systems are systems. Systems can still exist. That's not saying anything won't ever pull you off, but the system will bring you back to what's most important. And that's what I really loved about that process.
But, it goes with the other pillar as well. Building the culture of leaders, because I have to be able to trust my team to move those systems forward in whatever pocket, or area they're working in. And really, I'm there checking in with them to so we can make adjustments as we go along.
And I think that's, again, like you said, goes right to that trust. You got to trust.
Yes.
We got trust.
Trust and verify.
Right, trust and verify. Right. All right, so I want to give a kind of a rundown of myself as a mentor, and so I wanted to focus on one of these things, and this is for everyone. It's competency 3. I think competency 3, every instructional leader, if you would, at the very least, is familiar with or wants to be or should be focused on. That's instructional leadership. And so one of the things and the joys in terms of this program with me, I was able to go on that journey with you. So we went and what's the turtle's name again?
Swim Shady.
Swim Shady. Oh my goodness, Swim Shady. We were able to. Swim Shady is the turtle that's in our STEM lab. In that STEM lab at Love T. Nolan. I really enjoyed the instructional walkthroughs, kind of dialoguing, going through. Instruction is my favorite thing. I know you love instruction, and just delving into what those things are most important for instruction. Yes. Swim Shady, the kids really anchored to that, but they enjoyed being in that learning space.
In that space.
That space is
the space was really intentional the way we created it, because we wanted to our STEM lab to be a space that was reflective of collaboration, reflective of teamwork, because they do a lot of project-based assignments in there. So, having Swim Shady as our STEM lab pet, it just lets them see how nature can come into what they do.
That's awesome. I really enjoyed my time there. They loved it. I loved it too. I want to stay in there with Swim Shady too.
Well, come on back anytime.
I didn't see his new tank. He got a new tank.
He got a new tank. We had a community member that donated a huge 55-gallon tank for Swim Shady. So I
know Swim was a little
cramped, little tight in there, but we've gotten her some new accommodations.
I like it. That 6th competency I wanted to focus on as far as being effective mentor fosters a culture that promotes formal and informal mentoring relationships. And that's the one thing. And I think what helped, I've always admired your work. and I think
Thank
we've
you.
always just always have clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And so that informal kind of thing is always going. Denise to know. She can call me anytime, and I might call her anytime. Hey, so what's going on? Like, what about this? What do you think about this? Run that. Those are those informal things that help develop those long-lasting, organic relationships. It's not forced. Nothing was ever forced for us because I think
because that goes back even far before this project. This program came about for you. So we already had that mentor-mentee relationship.
Yes, I love it, and I love it. And I think that's most important because that's when you get the most authentic work done.
Yes, for sure.
All right, we're going to end up. I know this went a little longer than we thought it was, but I've enjoyed myself.
I have too.
So I want to answer this final question.
Okay.
What are, based on the overall experience for this program, a protege coming in, what advice would you give them, and what would you say you got out of it? What advice would you give a protege coming into the program?
I think the biggest thing that I would say is, you can't do this work alone.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have somebody that can be your thought partner, somebody that, can give you a shoulder, to lean on when you're tired, a shoulder to cry on, when you need that. But it's really just, you can't do this work alone. Okay. Because the work that we do as principals, it can be very isolating.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
Nobody truly understands exactly what we have to do. Mm-hmm. They see from the outside, but they don't see all the intricate pieces that go along with our position. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think for me, with the program from a mentor's perspective, it goes back to that authentic relationship. Mm-hmm. I think, and it's not always going to be that way, but I think what this program in Fulton County's piece to it did a good job in this sense is matching, sound like we're dating now, matching or me with someone who would vibe. We were in kind of the same area of town. Your elementary school fees into mine. It's not always going to be like that. I think they'll being very purposeful about what the needs of the protege are and the mentor, because I think in terms of the mentor developing and the protege developing as well, whether there was an intentional thing in the program and that it happened in this sense. Yeah. And I think that's a kudos to this program. One of the things that I would definitely suggest doing in the future with the program is just making sure that it's a good match.
Definitely. That makes a world of difference.
All right. So I know I said it was the last question, but this is like the finally next to last and in conclusion.
In conclusion, okay.
You have to say one thing, the best thing that you got from this program, what would it be? And then we're going to close.
I was able to further my relationship with you.
Oh, no, you're going to give me that tissue over here. No, hold on. Give me this tissue.
No, but seriously, I have always, admired your work. We've run in the same circles, as principals, but you've always been either middle or high school. I'm elementary, so we never really crossed paths to the extent that we are now.
Absolutely.
Working in the same zone. So
well, I can absolutely say I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed getting to know you and your work better. So I was like, wow, this is great. And every time I went to your school to do walkthroughs, I've been taking pictures. I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna steal it out of there. No, good one. Let me turn your back and I'll take another picture. No, but it's been absolutely a joy. I think the greatest thing that I've gotten out of this program, if I can tack on to number one, learning your work, but it helped me to be more reflective. I think obviously the intent of the program is to develop me as a mentor and also develop a protege, but I developed as a mentor because I was able to be more reflective in my work. And I would tell any mentor that's coming into that, don't go into it like you're telling someone what to do. I'm gonna tell you what to do. This is a working relationship, and the object of or the goal of this is to help me to grow and to help you to grow. And so I've just grown tremendously. It caused me to do a lot of reflection based on these pillars, based on the competencies, based on the work. And actually I started thinking, I said, well, I gotta step my game up. The House of Love got it going on over there. But I'd like to thank you, Denise, again.
Thank you.
Up top.
I appreciate it.
Thank you all for tuning in, listening. Is that tuning in? Do you tune into a podcast? Is that a tuning in?
You listening?
Listen and look in. This is a listen and look. Y'all like our cool microphones? This is like a
this is high tech.
This is high tech. It's nice,
Good equipment here.
Thank y'all again. Have a good one. I wonder if you hold your hand up and does it stop? No.
Nope. Okay.